You're listening to the House of Cards on the Big Patriot Radio Network. All music on this podcast and radio network are purchased under all applicable licenses by the Big Patriot Radio Network.
Introducing to you.
You're on House of Cards, live on Facebook and YouTube.
It's going down now.
Locked and loaded with the truth.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome again. It's Thursday again, right here at Beaufort County's House of Cards. We're glad to have you with us this Thursday evening. It is the 22nd of August. I thought it just turned August. We're getting ready to turn another month over. And again, you're listening to the Big Patriot Radio Network. And wherever you're watching tonight or on demand later on, be it we're on two channels on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We're also simulcasting on bigpatriotradio.com. That's bigpatriotradio.com. This for the second week in a row. Let's just double check. Yes, the second week in a row, we are the number one rated podcast on the network. 2 weeks ago, we overtook the Overton Report, who's had it for like a year and a half, couple years. And finally, so 2 weeks in a row, let's make it three for this week. Don't forget, we have podcasts almost every night of the week on Monday nights, New America Movement from Jordan and David Cox up in Easley, South Carolina. You'll hear them at 7 o'clock and again at 9 o'clock on Monday evenings. On Wednesdays, it is the Overton Report with my buddy Corey Allen at 8 o'clock and again in the 9 o'clock hour. Thursday nights are right here with Big Patriot Radio and the House of Cards. On Saturday, it's 7 o'clock. It is the Radio Chickadee and Ubellis and Southern Sense Radio. That podcast is at 7 o'clock and runs to usually about 8:30. Great podcast show she's got there. And then Sunday, been with us since the beginning. That's Andrew Southwick and Culture Crossroads. His show has expanded to over a full hour now. So tune in on Sundays for that. Let's take a look here at the charts. Last week we had Motley Crue on the top, and again, they have done it. I don't believe we had back-to-back bands with different top hits before. Anyway, Girls from about 1984, 85, somewhere in there, was the number one hit. Daufuskie Island, Hilton Head, and Bluffton. Once again, all three of those tied for the most listeners with Beaufort, Hardyville, and Statesboro, Georgia. Making the tie with the trifecta right there. With both Hardyville and Beaufort. If you're on our Facebook page, please like the page. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ring the little bell so you stay abreast and you'll be notified anytime we go live with whatever kind of program we've got coming on. So subscribe and ring the bell. And if you can, we don't have it going across the page. I cannot believe I did that. But if you'd like to ever make a donation or contribution to this, you see our Venmo account there. You can also go on our Patreon account and set that up, or you can send stars through Facebook. We have got a huge show tonight, so don't forget Venmo, Facebook stars, or Patreon. We appreciate all of you who have been a loyal contributor to getting independent news and journalism always out there to the masses, free as possible.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
And again, this we've got a huge show tonight. Great special guest coming on at about half past the hour. You know, when you look around the country and around the world, we're seeing an unprecedented attack from every angle on people who believe and want to do things right the first time, or who just believe their way. They want to do things with integrity, with public transparency, and with honesty. You know, those are the people that are getting attacked worldwide. We're seeing attacks by communist leaders, the crooked communism in Venezuela, for example. We're seeing attacks by corrupt and dishonest regimes in Indonesia and Bangladesh and places all over. I mean, forget about, you know, the Ukraines. We obviously know about that, but there's other hidden places around the world where this stuff is going on. We're seeing attacks on people across Europe who are basically, they're tired of socialism. You know, the European factor, the European playbook is based on socialism. That's why back in the day, our forefathers left Europe, because they were tired of socialism. And they want to enjoy the freedom of a democratic republic too. We're seeing attacks right here in our own country, an uprising of ill-informed, in my opinion, mainly youth or young adults who have been brainwashed into thinking. And if you listen to some of these people, they actually will almost come out and say this. They will, hey, Leon, how are you, bud? They will come out and say they think socialism is a good thing. Brainwashed into thinking that communal rather good is prosperous. I heard a young lady late last night in Chicago who was giving her best shot how well communism should be received in this country, and that the new faces of leadership would embrace communism. We see some local leaders, such as I mentioned before, Bridget Fraser, who's campaigned publicly for Bernie Sanders, and that's her thing. That's okay. A stalwart of socialism and communism. And that's here locally. I mean, how confusing to youth is this? We see attacks on both major political parties by anarchists, a growing number of them who, quite frankly, they believe in zero government and zero control and or order. Now, that has never worked. It will never work. It hasn't worked in history, in the history of history, and it will never work. And those people must be shut down. I give them an A for effort, and I'll throw that A out there for effort to anybody. They just don't realize or understand how economics and civilization work. Yes, some of it is ignorance, and some is just misunderstanding, probably from either poor examples or leadership or something. We see attacks from a county council here in this county, leadership right here in Beaufort. And for those listening or watching in other counties, other states, even other countries, but we're going to keep it zoned in here. For those people, it's happening where you are too. You need to get involved at whatever level you deem necessary and see fit, but it is happening where you live. You need to get involved and have your county or parish or township government open up and be transparent. When you start asking why at every single turn that you can, you will see things begin to look a little different. Here, our county council leadership is cloaked and covered in the veil of secrecy is the best way I can put it. The mouthpiece of county council, the chairman, has been adamant, however, how he wants to be, and quite frankly, believes that he is, Mr. Transparency. But he, the council chairman, and his vice chair, since they are the leadership, continue to operate in that cloak, if you will, covered in darkness, and in some ways against the county code and against state code. Case in point, here we have a council administrator government. You need to know what your locale form of government is. Ours is in this county is a council administrator government. County council has zero responsibility of the day-to-day operation of the county. Now, we have marked occurrences over the last decade of current and past chair and vice chair of county council who make themselves a quasi-permanent resident of the county office building in Beaufort, directing almost day-to-day operation and day-to-day business. Now, this is illegal. We have a brand new county administrator here in this county, Michael Moore. Now, it is his job to run the county as CEO. That is his title. County administrator is the CEO. Yet we are still receiving reports and confidential information from inside county buildings across the county that even as of this week, Chairman Passman is having closed-door meetings, one in particular with Jared Fralix, the county engineer. They had a one-on-one closed-door meeting. Topic? Well, we were told it was to define an education plan to convince taxpayers to vote in favor of the $950 million transportation sales tax referendum that you'll see on your ballot in November. That's just what we were told from two sources that are actually inside the county building. It's alleged. This is illegal on multiple fronts. What Passman should be doing is turning over the 34 to 36 page document, the Haynesworth-Sinclair-Boyd document, to the public. But he hides that. And we've reported and showed you that he hides that and has been hiding that. Even with SLED, the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division investigating the county council and the county right now, and allegedly he and vice chair personally being investigated, he still hides the documents. Interestingly enough, the sheriff here of Beaufort County, P.J. Tanner, came out publicly and said, I want a copy of it. Now, this is a constitutionally elected official, and the chair, through the county attorney's office and the county administrator, said no. The sheriff was and is pissed, and I don't blame him. The citizens, quite frankly, since we've been reporting this, are pissed as well. Well, Joe and Larry, that's the chair and vice chair, the people have had enough. We have multiple reports right now of lawsuits being filed against the county on a myriad of things, rather against the county council and against you both, allegedly, albeit allegedly, personally as acting leadership roles. If you, both of you, have not experienced the tight sphincter syndrome yet, well, it's coming. There's a quote that I really like that is out there by Marianne Angelo that says this. Let me read this to you, this quote. Quote, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Again, let me read that back one more time. This is Marianne Angelo. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Now, if you take that little quote from Marianne Angelo, and if you start to unpack that here locally in Beaufort, in your county, in South Carolina, in your state, across the nation, and you talk about, or you unpack that rather, and you start looking at what we said when we kicked this thing off, that people are being attacked. They're being attacked. So to Joe and to Larry and to former councilman members in leadership, Stu Rodman, Paul Somerville, people like that, Jerry Stewart, people will forget what you said. People will even forget sometimes your full name. People will forget what you did, but they're never going to forget how you made them feel. It's well documented that county council here in Beaufort County, their approval rating is at an all-time low. I wish we didn't have this problem. Matter of fact, if we didn't have this problem, this show probably would never have started. Some people say, well, your show is a GOP conservative show or this. No, it's really not. We started this show based on corruption, based on exposing the cloak of darkness that even in the Bible says, through the darkness always comes the light. I sent a letter in some weekly back and forth, and I happened to have mentioned the last county council chairman that, in my opinion, that we've had here in this county, that actually people can still remember what he said, what he did, and how he made them feel, because in my opinion, the majority of what he did on county council was above board, if not all of it, and quite transparent. And that was Weston Newton. Ever since Weston Newton, and I want to say that was like either 2008 or 2010, somewhere in there, maybe 2012, it has been downhill. There's been numerous chairmen. There have been even more, like double the number of county administrators. There is a common denominator there, and that is the continued attacks against civility, the continued attacks against transparency, the continued attacks against the citizens of this county. You know, I just read that from this just a few minutes ago about lawsuits and so forth. Historically, in Beaufort County, I remember a county administrator back when I began on county council who, during a meeting one day, had made a joke and a comment about people who threatened to sue the county. Not being dried underneath the ears yet and still green at that. I asked, well, why would you? What's so funny about somebody suing the county? And I'll never forget that he said, because we have more money than anyone and we can outlast everyone. So when someone says, I will sue you, not only do they have to not worry about saying another word about it, they actually look forward to it. There's something wrong with that. If your county applauds you to say, I'm going to sue you, XYZ County, and they laugh and besmirch you, and at the same time say, bring it on, I've got more money than you, and I can outlast you. There is something very, very sad with that. We should not be having to live through those attacks from our own county, our own town. Insert your name, your village, your township there. It should not happen. Anyway, that's tonight's opening here on Big Patriot Radio and the House of Cards.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Big Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, our special guest is back in the backstage there in the green room. We're going to bring her on here shortly, but I want to set the stage first. I think this may be the first time we've even talked about this directly as a subject. And again, we got a lot of stuff coming on tonight. We're going to talk about this, Daufuskie Island, the Low Country Ferry, the sheriff, town of Bluffton on two different levels. A lot of stuff going on. We opened with a brief conversation about attacks on integrity, attacks on what is doing right, attacks on transparency. Our next segment is something that is front and center in my mind, and I don't know how much attention we have honestly given to it here on this channel. And that subject is violence in our communities, especially in communities of color. Now, I was introduced to our special guest tonight through a video she posted. I was introduced through a mutual associate, mutual colleague, and it was spurred on by a video that she posted recently after another shooting and murder that occurred north of the Broad River in Beaufort County. For those that aren't aware, here in this county, we refer to places either being south of Broad or north of Broad. This was north of Broad in northern Beaufort County. Anyway, that has nothing to do with it. This applies everywhere. So I want to show you a portion of the video that she posted just a few days ago. I'm gonna bring I'll bring Valeria on here shortly, but I want to show you some of the video that she has to set the screen for our conversation. So bear with me. We'll bring up this and take a listen.
Facebook Live. Good evening. This is your girl, V Rich. And I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to come on here because I am not playing. I'm done. I'm done. I am so done with all this craziness. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm gonna give a few people to come on, and I will let you, and I will get into what I'm on here about. to share this darn video post. I need y'all to share this post. I am tired. I am tired. I am tired. I am so tired. I am so tired. I'm gonna get right into it because I don't want to be on here no 30 minutes because I may miss and have to repent to Jesus. So I don't want to be on here no 30 minutes. So I'm gonna get into this. I just want a few people to come on because, and the reason I'm inviting people because I need y'all to share this. This is crazy, and enough is enough. Enough is enough. Okay, enough is enough. Y'all need to share this post because enough is enough. Last night, boy was shot up in the same apartment complex that, God, we had to have had at least 4, maybe 5 killings in that same apartment complex by Walmart. Young boy was shot up last night multiple times. Okay, if that's not enough, check this out. Kennedy Circle, near my mama house. 17 years, I believe he's 17 years old, and he was shot up. This just happened. Now they got the helicopters, they got the dogs, they got the cops with big guns standing. Y'all should have been doing this long time ago. I called Beaufort County Sheriff Department and I asked them to keep officers in that community. I just spoke with my elderly aunt and uncle. My mom's house is right not even a mile from this. Kennedy Circle is shot up at least, if not every month, every week, every other week. And the sheriff department told me that they had undercovers in there and they know about the drug hole in Kennedy Circle. Okay, this young boy was just shot up again, just about an hour ago. I was told he died, that he's related to the Wilson family, whatever. If these elected officials, y'all can play around, this is a warning. I don't hate anybody, but it's your job to get in these dirty communities and get with the sheriff department so these elderlies and these law-abiding people don't live in fear. But y'all refuse. Y'all had to have known those boys were seeking out Kennedy Circle every week. Y'all promised me that y'all would keep officers undercover, whatever. So how y'all get upset because I come on here and put y'all on blast, elected officials, councilmen, councilwomen, y'all being voted in these positions and you're not doing nothing. Nothing. I've been crying out for almost 3 years about all these homicides in Beaufort, and y'all don't even care. Y'all sit in your houses in Sun City, sit in your house in these gated communities. Y'all don't care about the people that y'all supposed to serve. That's why I got on here and put y'all on blast, and y'all still don't care because who have called the sheriff department? Elected officials. It's not our job to cry out for peace in our communities. It's not our job. That's why we voted and put y'all in office, and y'all don't give a darn about the people that y'all sworn to serve. Last night, that apartment is where my 3-year-old cousin was killed. That's the same apartment not too long ago the 6-year-old was killed. That's the same apartment that at least 3 or more people been killed in. That same apartment by Walmart. I don't know why people live there. We contacted the owners. We contacted the managers. Say, can we come in? Don't say nothing to none of the tenants. Can we come in and pray to cover the grounds? He said no. Why in the hell y'all still living in that apartment by Walmart? Some people call it Ambrose apartment. Some people call it Common, whatever. It's the one right there. That's all the shootings are in constantly. Nothing but shootings goes on at that apartment. You elected officials, y'all are not doing your job. Y'all don't deserve to be an elected official. You don't deserve it because y'all don't care about the Black community. You don't care. We not asking for no darn handout. We taxpayers. I'm not asking y'all for no handout. It's your job. Now the cops are out there with big guns, walking around like they doing something. Hell, the shooters done got away. I was told the boy died. I don't know if that's true, but I know he was shot badly. See, this is the problem. These are the same communities that's being shot up every month, every week. These are the same areas. You mean y'all can't put cops in these areas? You mean y'all can't put substations in these areas? You can't do it because Beaufort is one of the richest cities in South Carolina. But you don't give a darn about us. You don't care about us. And some of y'all are Black, and y'all are councilmen, and y'all Black, and y'all ain't doing diddly. What the hell you got the position for? Go ahead and resign. Go ahead and resign because you're not doing what your mission statement said. I had told myself yesterday, I'm going to get on here and say, I don't hate y'all city officials. I don't hate the sheriff department. I don't hate the police department. I just want peace in these communities. But we got 2 deaths in the same 2 communities that is always being shot up and people killed. The same 2 areas, the same 2 communities is always being shot up every month, sometimes every week. And now y'all want to pop up with helicopters and shotguns and big guns. It's after the fact. When you should have been covering those communities, but you refused to, and you elected councilmen and councilwomen, y'all are garbage when it comes to what your mission statement is. Your mission statement is garbage. It's rubbish. Like they say in the African movies, like Miss Sandy will say, rubbish. Y'all don't care. What's so bad is y'all don't even, which I'd rather you just don't even do it because you're fake. You don't even care. Oh, we set this up. Hell with you. What is set up in these communities that's being shot up every week, every month? Y'all need to stop voting for these people. These people should not be in office. I'm going to tell you this. Warning come first. I'm going to tell you this. If there's a shooting near my mama house again, and it took y'all 35 to 45 minutes to get out there, and my mom ain't got nothing to do with this garbage, and there's another shooting near my mom's house, or my mom get hurt from being in her yard, I promise you, the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, SLED, and everybody else. Because I know some of y'all tight with SLED, and SLED need to straighten their mess out. Some of them that are in SLED that's doing this wrong stuff y'all doing. Everybody know. That's why y'all like to put hush-hush on people. Because y'all know what people are doing. That's why y'all want to do gag orders. Do your job, and you won't have to go through these crooked judges to get a gag order on somebody that's telling the truth. How in the hell y'all want to investigate the sheriff department? You gonna say you not? Did you even try? You'll be surprised what the people in the Beaufort County Awareness Group knows. Making Lives Matter. You'll be surprised because it ain't just me. It's a group of us, and you'll be surprised all the crookedness and the hellishness and the evilness that y'all elected officials are doing. Protect the people. You're getting paid our tax dollars. You're wrong. Beaufort County was wrong to allow the drug task force to be removed from this county and still getting the money for the drug task force. Most of these people that are shooting up, all these innocent people out there, the shooting in Dale a couple of days ago, y'all didn't report that. That man's house got shut up. But y'all didn't report that. I want to know, since y'all not doing your job in covering these communities, it ain't like Beaufort got that much going on. Most of the crimes are in these same areas that y'all refuse to cover, that y'all refuse to bring some kind of peace to these homeowners and these law-abiding citizens because you don't care. You don't, just go ahead and say it. I'd rather you be real with me and say, be rich. I'm not going to put undercovers in these areas. Be rich. County council ain't going to do a thing about the shootings. It's y'all black people that are killing up each other. It's y'all, you know. But I tell you what, y'all gonna have to answer to God. And I'm not threatening you. I'm threatening the evilness in you. Because y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. I just talked to my aunt in Kennedy Circle. She was so scared. This lady done retired from the air station. Her husband, she's a pastor, pastoring a church. Two killings. Not even 24 hours apart. If the young man has died. Y'all are wrong. And don't call me. Don't contact me. I want y'all to do your job. Unless you just need to speak to somebody. And you can call me, maybe. But I'm not gonna take no bull from you, so you probably don't want to call me. Because y'all have known all these shootings in Dale and Seabrook and Sheldon and Grace Hill and Burton and all these places. Y'all hear the news. Y'all know people are dying. Y'all see all these killings and y'all refuse to demand that Sheriff Tanner and the police chief do their job, and y'all are the one that's supposed to make sure this stuff is done, because you all are county council and you all are city council, and y'all do not take the darn position if you're scared. Get out of the office of county council. Get out of the office of city council, because y'all don't care. People have been electing y'all for every term. The same people in county council, the same people in city council, and y'all not doing nothing. Nothing. Y'all black people, y'all better get out there and vote right and raise up some educated, smart people that can run against these people, because they don't care about you. The news bulletin, the elected officials, I don't care if they're black. That means they're Uncle Tom, like Clarence Thomas. Ain't doing crap. Y'all need to raise up some people. We got people with business owners. We got doctors that are black, lawyers that are black. Y'all need to raise somebody to run up against these people for y'all people, because this thing is going to go from generation to generation. So your grandkids are going to be affected. Your great-grandkids, you might be dead and gone, but all of them going to be affected by this. When that's black sheriff, I got to give him his props before Tanner. When that black sheriff was in office, you could literally walk around, leave your house with your door open, because he took all the people that they felt was committing these crimes. He put them in jail. If you look at all these shootings among the black communities, these people are involved in all kind of stuff. And now it's going to be a repeat from today. That's what it is. The today's shooting was a retaliation. And honey, the sheriff department know this. Okay, they know. It was a retaliation. Last night, a retaliation. So what they do, they come back and they shoot up people's houses and all this stuff. Now it's going to be a retaliation from today.
And that is where we're going to stop. There are many more minutes of that tape, and wow, I want to bring onto the show a new friend of mine, Valeria Rich. How are you? Welcome, my friend.
Hey, Michael.
Hey,
So nice to see you, my friend.
It's all my pleasure, and God bless you for the work you're doing, and the light that you're shining on this very extremely serious subject. It's such a pleasure to have you on here. There's a lot of folks, a lot of new folks. I think some of these, I've been trying to put their messages up. Katina Days. Hey, thank you for coming on the show. That's right, V Rich for city council or city council. We do that here on the show when we have people chime in. I like to give them. So these are some new. I can tell who's new and who isn't. But some folks are out there supporting you. It's glad to have you. I want to, before we go too far into it.
It's an honor, Michael. It's an honor. I really appreciate.
Before we get too deep into it, please, for those folks who don't know about you, tell us just a little bit about V Rich.
V Rich, my birth name for my grandmother is Valeria Richardson. I'm a Rivers, actually. My dad was Cato Rivers, the late Cato Rivers. Awesome father, awesome mother, Leola Rivers. I am originally from Beaufort. I grew up here. I live in Bluffton now, but I grew up in the Burton communities. I went to school there, graduated from high school, attended TCL, left there, got married to a Marine and traveled the world, Japan, different places. So my passion, my husband and I are also youth pastors. We try to get away from children, but it just does not happen. I've always worked in a capacity of children, no matter where I'm at, Japan, it doesn't matter. Wherever I'm at, you'll find a bunch of kids around me somewhere. But my passion, my son, Mario, he had just graduated from high school. We were living in Hampton, Virginia at the time. And I was raising 2 boys and a daughter. And Mario had just graduated from high school, and he and his best friend, they were going in the Army. And he had broke up with this girl that he was dating for maybe 6 months. Everybody was saying she was crazy, all that. But he broke up with her because that was the right thing to do, because he was moving on, with his life. So in the military, and we got a call like 2:00 that night. He was killed by her. And she was in the home, her dad, and we know someone else was in the home. We were not from Virginia, but that family was, and they ruled it as homicide. There's no way in the world that they could do that, but suicide. I'm sorry, they ruled it as suicide. Okay. But everyone that knows Mario know he would never take his life. That's a battle we're still fighting all these years. And I think that's where my passion comes from. Because truly, my life ended when I lost my child in 2009. I had no will to live, would never do anything to myself. But, even though I had my other children, it was just that, just losing my baby. I wanted my child back. So, but anyway, that's where my passion comes from, for justice for mothers, justice for fathers, family members. I was working at the Beaufort County Black Chamber in Beaufort, and one of my main contractors was gunned down back in 2022. That sparked whatever was inside of me. So I started this movement back in February, March of 2022, and been going ever since to try to get justice for these families and everything. I love people. I care about people. It doesn't matter whether you're Black, white, Haitian, Puerto Rican, it doesn't matter. My passion is people, has always been people. And the way that my contractor, Malcolm Donaldson, was killed was just horrible. And that's when I started learning about all these other unsolved homicides and getting with the family members and trying to bring some type of comfort and closure, and just to be that listening ear to these families. Wow.
It's an incredible story, incredible testimony. And for you and your husband to always be, you talk about the children kind of, you turn around and there they are. I mean, there are people who are gifted that. Yes. And bless you for that. Valeria, I don't even know where to start on this. When you and I were talking yesterday or day before, whenever it was, there's so many things that I have questions about, and and assumptions about. Obviously, we saw from your video, which is, I don't really know what the meaning of the word viral is, but if anything's gone viral, it's got to be that. I mean, there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of views. People are hearing this message and are saying there is something, I hear about this on the radio or the TV, but when I hear Valeria speak, it gets me right here. What these problems, drugs, shootings, murders, tell us about the exacerbation of these problems by either a possible lack of interest or a lack of support, and you could throw in there ignorance by town and county councils and law enforcement.
Mike, I will say this is how I feel. This is the truth from my heart. When the Beaufort County Drug Task Force was removed from this city, from this county, at least over maybe 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, when you remove a drug task force with which you have funding for, and you remove that from the community, this is what you have. I do not know this Beaufort at all. I'm like, oh my God, what in the world? The drug task force was removed. They recently, when we started this movement, they recently brought it back. And I believe it was because no good that I've done, because it's total Jesus. The awareness that we were bringing out, I believe that is why they said that they have brought it back, not that they are active. Because, and I've said this to Sheriff Tanner as well. And we had a meeting Tuesday, and for the sheriff to say, most of these, this might be 1%, and there were a lot of people in the room, so they can attest to this. He said most of the shootings is not drug related. What the hell? Yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I am from here. I get calls all the time. I know a lot of these areas, and you have a drug house in front of Battery Creek High School in the Burton area of Beaufort. That drug house, they have been selling drugs from that house for at least 15 to 20 years. Now, in my mind, I'm wondering, okay, you're saying that the shootings and all of that is not really the drug dealers? Are you kidding me? That's that house in front of Battery Creek High School has been shot up numerous times, and the people in that house have shot up a lot of areas as well. There has been killings right in front of that house.
And they still are there.
And they're still there. So and that's just one. There's a lot of drug houses. But when you have leadership, law enforcement telling you that you know where all the drug houses are and you're comfortable telling V Rich that, I got a problem.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me, I know where the drug houses are in Seabrook. I know where the drug houses are in Beaufort. I know the city of Beaufort, the county, the county of Beaufort, St. Helena. You're telling me you know where all these drug holes are. But drugs, you don't hear anything about people being arrested,
right,
for selling drugs.
Young lady murdered yesterday, I guess, or day before yesterday on St. Helena on Seaside Road. A very well-known drug hole. Very
known drug hole, and it has not just started. That has always been an issue on St. Helena. So I'm sorry, but to me, it makes me think that we got some corruption in law enforcement.
That's a great point.
Because
And let me
it just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all. And one of our viewers is sending this in that I guess she had met you a couple of years ago, Julianne. Hey, good evening. She's a regular. She says, she believes Tanner may turn a blind eye. Why? I don't know that you think that or you don't. I'll let you say that. But why would law enforcement? What would be their MO to just look the other way? What would they get out of doing that?
One, he could care less. But when I spoke to some of these drug dealers,
Mhm.
and the relationship they have with the sheriff is disturbing.
As in rather close?
Close. When you're on first name basis with these drug dealers, I got a problem. I'm not with drug dealers. I could see you have a first name, first name basis with people that are having an event or having a community event, a cookout, and you're invited, and stuff like that. I get that. But when y'all have a relationship for over 15, 20 years and there's no arrest, that's a problem. That is a major problem. So either he show a blind eye or don't want to do anything, but to the community, to the people in these community that are communicating with me, said it's deeper than that. But I don't know, because I don't live in those, I don't be in those areas. I'm not living that type of life or anything. So I just want the crime rate to stop.
Right.
I just want the Black communities to feel like somebody care that's in law enforcement. I can't read, of course, I can't read Sheriff Tanner's mind or anything like that. Just do your job, and I don't have to speculate, or nobody have to think that something else is going on. Because when you're in law enforcement, you can't afford to turn a blind eye, because the people selected you to be in that office, and you sworn to protect us.
That's right. At the end of the day, that is a sworn position to protect and serve. You put your hand on the Bible, and you swear. New listener, and I'm assuming that Jeanette Coates knows you. She has a comment here that this I have heard before. She says, Black folks are killing each other and they are fine to get rid of us. I'm assuming she means the police or the sheriff's department. Now, I certainly hope that is not true, because if that is true, there is an even bigger problem than we're talking about with drugs, money, shooting. That's even a bigger problem. But let me go to a different step. As you and I talked, I'm a former county councilman here in Beaufort, and I made it a point. Matter of fact, when I got elected to office, I contacted, it represents part of Burton, Gerald Dawson. I contacted Gerald and I said, and I'll never forget this conversation. I told him, I said, hey, I live in Bluffton. Our problems here are like in the summertime between 10 and 2 on Saturdays. We know not to drive some particular places. I said, you don't have that problem in Dale or Seabrook or wherever. And I said, I'd like to come sit on your front porch with you and have a glass of tea on a Saturday from 10 to 2 and experience that. And then have you do the same thing over here in Bluffton. And that was a big kind of a joke. Moving forward, I did that because I wanted to see what other folks saw that I didn't see, and vice versa. I always felt that we, as a group of 11, we may represent this one whole, here and here and here and here and here, but it's the whole county we really represent. York Glover out of St. Helena and Ladies Island, part of downtown. He and I worked together to get the St. Helena Farmers Co-op going, and the biggest farm I have, a garden, is 2 rows that are only like 8 foot long. You know what I'm saying? So my question with bringing that up is, how many county councilmen or councilwomen or town councilmen or town councilwomen have actually come to you, called you, visited you, and said, I want to be involved. I want to help. Don't know what I can do. or maybe showed up at, the next day after, someone's child was murdered with a covered dish. That's what we used to do back in the Baptist church, bring a covered dish.
Yes.
How many have done that?
Mike, 0.
That's not unbelievable. That is unnatural.
I will say, if anyone checked my Facebook page out, I did some history on all 11 county councilmen and councilwomen. I did pictures. I made nice little cute little flyers of all the councilmen, what councilwomen, what area, what district they serve. Like if it's Dale, Seabrook, I put all of that on Facebook to each of these council people. And I told people, start calling them because my phone is blowing up. Up to 12:30, 1 o'clock last night, my phone was just ringing because there were something going on at Whale Branch School with a lot of police officers, I guess after the game or whatever, or during the game. Still to this day, don't know what happened because they hide the news. But I will say after I did that, maybe I did that, last week, I've had one county council respond and asked me to call her, which was Alice Howard, I believe.
Okay.
And she covers a lot of the areas that she's over, her district, the district that she's over. A lot of these shootings is in her district. She has never come forward. I spoke with some of the family members. She's never contacted them that lost their loved ones to gun violence that's been shot up in these streets. She has never reached out, nor have the others. They have not. But Alice did reach out to me on Facebook after she saw that post. And I called her and she said she would be to my meeting on Tuesday past. I don't know what happened. I tried to reach out to her to see why she was not there because she promised that she would be. And I know things comes up, with children, grandchildren, whatever. Things comes up. But I promise, and I'm not perfect, but I'm just saying with you in that position, and you promised to come to the meeting and promised to meet with us to help us and implement programs, just give me a call, or send me a quick text because she has my number. And let me know, I couldn't be there. Something came up, but just let me know. City Council, Josh Scalate, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name. Correct me, Mike, if I'm wrong.
You got it.
Josh, oh my God. I hear from Josh every day since that post. And he's one of the younger ones, and he's also running for mayor.
That's right.
And I'm pushing for him because he said, I cannot, he said, I will not be able to make your meeting on Tuesday past. He said, because we have a meeting. And he listed some things that he was going to do to help with cameras in these low income areas where the crime is and where the shootings is 100% every day, every week, every month. And he got the funding to do some of that. He got back with me on yesterday and said what they agreed on and the money that will be spent. So I'm definitely will hold city council to it.
Oh, absolutely.
So cameras should be going up soon. There should be money more. He said there will be more funding toward community events or things for the young people in the areas. I'm holding him to that. And I believe that he's telling the truth because he has sent me a list of things that he spoke to city council about. Not any one of those other 4 people has contacted me. None of them. Just
wow.
So when you look at county council and they have 11 council people and only 1 has reached out, say she will come to the meeting. That's alarming.
That's extremely.
City council, only 1. I also put the information out there for the South Carolina representatives.
Good.
And I list what district, what areas are they, that they're supposed to be covering. I have not heard from any of them, including Michael Rivers, any of them. And even in my video that you show some clippings from,
Mhm.
I'm not saying, for Black people to raise up Black people to be in these offices, because we find a lot of times when we get the position, we do nothing with it. We just want the title.
Well, I think that goes no matter the color of your skin.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I could care less. All I want is people like Josh that got in touch with me and already putting things in place for the communities that he served. These people, they just don't care. And a lot of these people that are in these in position with the council, the Beaufort County Council, the Beaufort City Council, they've been in there too long. They too comfortable.
Oh, yes. Lord,
why do we keep voting for these same people that don't care about the people? My dad raised me up to love everybody, and even it's 9 of us. We don't care about the color of somebody's skin.
No,
we're just loving people, helping people. My dad always helped people. I mean, you look at Dalton Island, Fripp Island, all of these places, the Plaza. Those are my dad's work. My dad employed people that he knew was not able to do the job.
Right.
But he did not want them in the streets. So he would take these young boys and give them jobs just to make sure that they are not in the streets and they're working and they got little money in their pockets.
Absolutely.
And that's the heart that I have.
So I think that, let's sort of dissect this where we are. We have a multifaceted problem.
Yes.
I believe, and I see Jeanette has an excellent comment. Some people don't vote. You got to get out and vote.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter, not one time during this conversation have I talked about political parties, because quite frankly, drugs and 9mm bullets could give a shit whether you're Republican, Democrat, communist, anarchist, or you're nothing. It doesn't matter. So, and that needs to come out of this. The other thing that, in my opinion, that needs to come out of this, and I argue with a lot of people in my own, political sphere, I argue a lot about labels. Yes. I can't stand when people start labeling other people, because this is our problem. This is a we problem. This is not a you problem or a you problem. This is an our problem. So when you start looking at this, let's see if we can't, and I'm by no means do I pretend to be an expert at this, because I'm not. I try to unpack things, and I mean, I've been around the world of the sun a few times. Are drugs, gangs, combination, is that the root of this, or are there other things, or is there other things? What's your feeling about that?
Drugs, gangs is definitely the root. It was 14 a few months ago. It was 14-year-olds. We now have these older gangsters recruiting 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14 and 15-year-olds. Now, and you're so right, and I've said that so many times on my Facebook page, this is all of our problems, because these people, they don't care where they see their enemy. If they see you in Walmart, just like what, a couple of weeks ago, those guys was in Walmart. I'm not saying they were gangsters, but they were in Walmart. Somebody else was in Walmart. Call up their people. The sheriff department knows this. I was told they pulled the tape. No arrest. 5 people in a car. One 18-year-old got 12 bullets in him. A 15-year-old was in the car. So you got the older ones recruiting these babies. Where the hell are these mothers of the 12-year-olds? But you got these older gangsters recruiting 12-year-olds and up. And they are given the guns, the AKs, and they're doing the shooting while the older ones are driving.
Right.
And if something is not done with these being children, they're in our schools. So the schools, which is crazy to me, does not have any metal detectors. How stupid is that? You build these $1 million schools with no metal detectors. We too comfortable. But if we don't get control of this situation, we're going to have a lot more fatalities of innocent people, because a lot of the gas stations on St. Helena been shot up.
Sure.
But they saw that's where they see the people. That's where they see the enemies.
Right.
Road rage, whatever. Across from the air station, that gas station was shot up. All it takes is these bullets to hit the right place. And then we got a big explosion.
Sure.
In the air station of our Marines that takes care of us, that takes care of the war situations and keep us safe in all of these other countries, would be affected by something of that magnitude. And I'm not exaggerating, because it's, if we don't get control of this, it's only a matter of time. And that I do not understand how city council and county council had not got a hold of this situation.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree with that 100%. And I think you've done an excellent job of outlining why and where all these councils have and continue to be failing in that vein. Now, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, I believe the problem is a drug problem.
Yes.
I believe it is a mental and societal problem. I don't believe, like, these young kids with the guns, even they're, some of the 15, the older ones, I don't call this a gun problem, because they shouldn't be able to get them anyway. So they're getting them some way that's not legal to begin with.
Yes.
Why are they resorting to such extreme means of violence? So I've done digging on this over the years, and I want to get your opinion on this. And while I said I don't put labels on things, when you start to drill down to try to understand what's going on, we end up putting labels on things. What I have read and studied, and this was up through 2022, people of color make up about 13 or 14% of the population of the United States. But almost half of the murders are not convicted by, but performed by younger, and that would be 30 and younger, young males of color without fathers in the household. Now, I grew up with a dad in my house, so I don't know what that feels like. I have plenty of friends from black, white, brown, red, all over the spectrum that didn't have a father. So I can't relate. I don't know what that feels like. But when you talk to the community that you live in, is that true? Is there something there that says when you have a home without a mom and a dad, there's going to be a problem, and maybe that's what's affecting this? Does that make sense?
I that does make sense. That's part of the problem. That's a major part of the problem.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the main problem.
Right.
I will say the reason I believe that's part of the problem is when my first husband and I divorced. I was married to a Marine. When we divorced, I think we had like 13 years of marriage, and it went south. And I had 2 boys for my husband. One was 10, and the other, my youngest son, was 6 at the time. My oldest decided that he wanted to try to fit in. I have 6 brothers, so they all all my son ever seen was positive men,
role model,
men that works and take care of their homes and all of that. So my father and my brothers tried, my brother-in-law, they tried to be there as much as possible for my oldest and my youngest. But my oldest decided that he wanted to be in the streets. And I later learned when he got older, well, mom, they were pressuring me saying, oh, you think you all that, and y'all got this life and y'all got nice house, all the peer pressure.
Right.
So he decided to go south or street.
Right.
And I believe, because sometimes I blame myself, I do, that of course he's come a long way. He's been shot 5 times.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow.
3 was to the doctors should have been fatal, but God.
Wow.
So he took to that life. I do feel that if his father had remained in his life the way that he was, even through the divorce, when we were together, that my oldest would not have taken that route. So that does have a lot to do with these young people with no fathers, their mothers trying to be their friends. A mother cannot be a father. I tried it. I tried it for 6 years. We try to play both roles when we are forced to do so.
Absolutely.
But we're not. God didn't make us fathers. He made us mothers. And I'm positive that with the divorce, sometimes I say to myself, not now, but I used to say to myself, if I had just stayed with them and just continue with whatever was going on, maybe my oldest wouldn't have gotten in trouble and turned to the streets.
Right.
And he's been struggling. He's 39 now, doing a whole lot better. But hey,
and you know something, Valeria, I feel compelled to tell you this. My wife and I were talking about this just the other day. We passed somebody and we immediately went to, oh, they got the perfect house and the perfect children and the perfect this and the perfect that. It seems when we think that, I should have done this or I could have been better, and like the Smiths or the Joneses, we all got problems. We've all made mistakes. And you know what? I'm still looking for that book that says How to Parent. I'm still looking for that book, and I never find it.
And there is no perfect parenting. It's just that there's no guidance in a lot of the children that we're working with.
Right.
You're from Beaufort, so you're familiar with Parkview.
I'm in Bluffton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you and I both in Bluffton, but I
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Parkview is right by the detention center.
Yep.
That apartment complex.
Yeah.
There used to be shootings night and day. It was out of control. It is so well maintained now with Miss Sandy and the camera systems and all that they have out there. We have taken these children. These are the children that the world would consider outcasts. The world would consider abandoned. And we bring these children home with us on Sundays, have the 4-wheelers out, just try to do so much with them because we're trying to show them that life can be better. But when you have no guidance in a lot of these homes, not just Parkview, not per se Parkview, but when you have no guidance in a lot of these homes in Beaufort County, in the city, this is why these children feel eager to join these gangs, because the gangs go by them Jordans and just show them a good time, like they love them. Children just want to be loved, whether it's negative or positive. So when these 12-year-olds, their parents probably can't afford whatever, and it looks so appealing, and boys are fascinated by big guns and all that. That's how they are recruiting these children. And yes, I will say the fathers, they have to do better because just like it's the mother's responsibility, I don't care if you're not with these children. You planted them there. You laid with that woman. You had sex with her, and here comes little Billy.
Yep.
And these fathers that are not married to these mothers, these single mothers, they are wrong. And they play a big part. And now when you go to the funeral, now y'all having a hard time. But y'all wasn't a father. And you wasn't a mother. You're trying to be friends. So yes, that plays a big a big part. No guidance. These children think that the mothers are, we have, Mike, we have so many mothers that are getting high in front of these children.
Yeah.
I smell the weed on them. We take the church bus, go pick up these kids. We go to the schools, volunteer. I've been told that when these children get off the school buses, they're stink with weed. And we know marijuana in Beaufort County and anywhere else, if you're not growing it yourself, is laced with all kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's another reason why these children cannot read, but they're being passed on to the next grade. The reading, there so many of these kids are not on grade level with reading. And if you cannot read, how in the hell can you do math problems? How in the hell you can do anything? History, science, anything.
Going to be very, very low, very low. So
yeah, so you're right.
We've got and I want to make sure, there's been a lot of folks commenting, and I want to make sure they understand. I'm not saying that a fatherless home is the reason. I'm trying to lay out a picture of what are the reasons. So we've got that. Obviously, drugs is a huge part of this. I have in a very recent former life, I did some work with the Savannah Chatham Emergency Communications Department, and it got very close to both Savannah PD, Chatham County Police, Garden City, Pooler, blah blah blah. Very close on a level of the crisis intervention, both with suicide and drug intervention. That's where I got close to. The amount of drugs coming into South Carolina from, and I'm going to just say from Georgia, we'll just call it that, is unbelievable. It's unbelievable to the proportions of, they don't come in pill bottles, they come in cakes.
Yes. So
the drug enticement because of money, this is a enormous amount of money. You take, I mean, $1,000 to me, and I'm excited. Can you imagine a 14-year-old who doesn't have any real guidance? $1,000 that's ridiculous money.
Yes.
So the other night, so I want to throw that into it. The other night, and I think this is the part that I really want to concentrate on with you. You had your meeting, Beaufort Awareness Group. Sheriff Tanner was there. I heard some of the audio that was made. It was real hard to pick out. Did Sheriff Tanner offer any kind of positivity? Now, you said earlier that he said, well, we really don't have a problem. And I thought, well, maybe, I mean, after we talked about that, I thought, well, maybe he did give you some kind of positive news. Are they going to do anything? And the second question to that is, there was a man who spoke, obviously don't know who he was because I could only hear, but he said, and I can't forget this, he said, Sheriff Tanner, you take this stuff too personally. And I guess he meant by that, we don't want to come forward because you give us those eyes that are demeaning and condescending. Am I off base with this, or am I close?
I didn't know the meeting was being recorded. But
yeah, somebody had it in their pocket.
But I'm going to tell you the truth. I tried so hard to speak the truth. Listen, Mike. That was a pastor.
Okay.
That said that. Because my mother's 83 years old.
Hallelujah.
She said in the meeting that I cannot walk around my yard anymore. That's my exercise. There's no way you can tell me that there's nothing the sheriff's department can do. I know he was a little peeved about that, but I don't think he was crazy to attack my mother. Not that. So he took it out on one of my closest sweetheart, right. Miss Carol Doré. Miss Carol Doré's grand was gunned down in a car on Broad River Road about 2, maybe 3 years ago. No justice. And she said, well, I told the sheriff department about a drug place right next to me. I've told them about it. I spoke to you, Tana, about it. Nothing has been done. And the guy that's selling the drugs said to me, my uncle is on the sheriff department. And Tana could not contain himself any longer. And he got beside himself. When you're in leadership, this is what I've learned through the years of being in leadership. You have to be the last one to get upset.
Oh, yeah.
You have to. He doesn't like confrontation. But if you the sheriff of Beaufort County Sheriff Department,
You better expect it.
You get ready, dude. Get ready.
That's
You're gonna have confrontation. He has not given us any solutions. We've been hearing this from Sheriff Tana for almost 3 years. Oh, the people won't come forward. There's people at these shootings. There's people at this and that. Nobody's coming forward. I understand you have to have witnesses, and witnesses have to come through. But my thing is, you're the one that came to our meetings, introduce your detectives. Let me give you one example. And to answer your question, no, he didn't give us no solutions. It's the same old thing. We can't do nothing unless people come. But if you had
maybe
this before,
maybe we're doing it wrong. Maybe we need to try it a different way.
I mean, give us some solutions. I mentioned substations. One officer said from the county that, oh, that's old. Hell, what? How you mean that's old? I said, listen, if you put substations in these communities that are being shot up every week, you're telling me that will not save one life? It worked before. Sometimes we don't need to keep reinventing something. Yeah. We don't need to, if it's working, let it stay. Use it to the fullest.
But it ain't working here.
But what he's doing is not working. He needs to be removed, because if you're telling a group that is tired and frustrated with all these shootings, and we can't even be safe to have a cookout in our yards because there's guns shooting and guns, bullets has no name on it, and you're telling me there's nothing you can do, then we need new leadership. But I will tell you this, one case, 3 people in a car drive up to this young lady's house. Her husband had passed away. Some of the things that our culture we do, and also in other cultures I'm learning, if someone died in our family, there are people that are in these communities that will throw a fish fry for the family before the funeral. This is what was going on with this case. The car started following this guy, this contractor, same contractor. The car followed him, started shooting. Contractor didn't know what the hell was going on, right in Burton, near Milledge Village. The people in the car start shooting. They drove up in this community with the guy, to be honest with you, he was part of the fish fry. Him and his partner was doing a fish fry for this family because they were grieving. Free fish fry for everybody that over there that particular night. So he left, went to his mom's house, and got out his truck, parked his truck, and got into his car. Drove the car back to the family. He was driving the car back to the family's house. Malcolm Donaldson. People got behind him, started shooting. They followed him into Milledge Village, all the way to this house. He's trying to get away, I assume, not knowing what the hell going on, because he don't live that kind of life. So the car, he parked, he got out. Well, he didn't get out because he was shot. He pulled up in the yard. The car that was shooting, his car, pulled all the way up in the yard. 2 of the gunmen got out the car. There were people in the yard, of course. 2 of the gunmen got out of their car and went to Malcolm's car and started shooting him more.
In broad daylight, in front of everybody.
It was probably around maybe 6 o'clock, 7 or whatever time of night that was. So yeah, people could see who car that was.
Unbelievable.
So after they put more bullets in Malcolm, hit Malcolm's first cousin, the one that was doing the fish fry with him, his wife, She told me she went to Malcolm. She was not scared. She's trying to suppress the blood. Blood was all over her. And sadly, Malcolm passed away. When the car, the two shooters, there's a driver and there's two shooters.
Mm-hmm.
They got in the car, backed out, hit cars that was in the yard, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror of the shooter's car was detached.
Okay.
It fell off. We made some calls. The mirror was taken to the sheriff department. The mirror had serial numbers.
Yep.
So I said, what y'all should do is match the numbers to get the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's a 90-year-old grandfather that owns that car. He have to be held responsible. Who had the car such and such time and date? And if the grandfather, whoever, I'm not saying it was a grandfather because I found out it was not, but I'm just using that for an example.
Yeah, sure.
I don't care who that car belongs to. They should have been interrogated and told who had the car that time of night if it wasn't their car, and they should have been arrested. You know what the family was told? Oh, the guns that was in the car was not used to kill Malcolm. So we can't charge anyone. You got the evidence. The mirror isn't evidence. Somebody owns that car. You spoke to somebody and there's no arrest. There's nobody held accountable. See, these are the things that makes me so angry with the sheriff department. Sheriff Tanner told a friend of mine today that, oh, they hate me. We don't hate you. I don't hate a soul. Hate is a very strong word.
Extreme.
I don't hate you, but I hate that you're not doing right by these families for justice.
Right.
That's what I hate, because I know you can do more. You're the reason the drug task force was removed. So really, a lot of this is on your shoulders.
Yeah. And you know, there's nothing wrong for residents, citizens, taxpayers, mothers, fathers, grandparents, aunties, and uncles to say, law enforcement, this isn't working. Maybe we should try something else. And it's okay for them to say that. Now, I've always been one when in my businesses to say to an employee, okay, you got a problem, bring me a solution.
Yes.
I don't mind you telling me you don't like the color uniforms, but give me a solution. I may tell you you're crazy, but I may say, hey, you know what? You got a point there.
Right.
I would like to think, and I would like to hope and pray that Sheriff Tanner or Chief, I think her name is Price,
yes,
in the city, or Chief Babkowitz here in Bluffton, would be man and woman enough and professional enough to hear from whatever community to say, maybe if we try this, such as the substation in Savannah, we had precincts. Okay, maybe we don't have precincts in Beaufort County, but there's a reason they have precincts.
That's right.
And they keep officers in a several square block area, and that's where they just all night long ride around. And their response times, I heard PJ Tanner on your meeting say that their average is 2 to 3 minutes. I know that's hyperbole. I don't believe that in reality.
It's not true.
In Savannah, I mean, I've seen it. I've experienced it. It's like a 3 minute to 4 minute window, and boom, they're there. Maybe, Valeria, they need to, what's the new word? They need to refigure how they're policing.
If they really care, they need to do that. If they really care about the citizens of this county. Right now, a lot of my elderlies, along with young people that are professionals and have businesses or working or law-abiding citizens, they don't feel that nobody cares. I voice the concerns of the people. I hear what the people are saying. They are terrified. They're frustrated. They're scared to go to gas stations. They're scared to go to Walmart. You know, when you got older people getting up out their bed as best as they know how, running from bullets.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going on. When somebody has shot somebody else's house up or somebody got a beef with someone, if they can't get you, they find a relative of yours
They
and
find a
they
way.
destroy their houses with bullets. And a lot of this, Mike, is not even being reported. Why are you hiding this? Because people can protect themselves more when they know what's going on in their communities. Why are you hiding this from the news,
Right.
from the citizens?
Yep.
Something has to be done, and it needs to be done quick because, like I said, it's going to spill over in our schools.
Yep.
It's
That
gonna
will
spill over at these games.
that absolutely that will happen. That I remember just, I guess it's been 3 years ago, the first time they had that issue in Savannah, and it was a football game. And that same year, it was a basketball game, and they've made changes. Something relative to what you were just saying, I never will forget. I'm going to call her Mrs. Chisholm. We'll just use that name. She was a frequent caller. She was a very, very elderly lady downtown Savannah, lived there her whole life. On the east side, which is that's a dangerous area. She called all the time. Thought you heard this, thought you heard that. She called one. I happened to answer the call. Miss Chisholm, how you doing, darling? She said, my ear's bleeding. I think I've been shot. Come on, Miss Chisholm. You know, how do you think that? Blah, blah, blah. Be sending people out there. Anyway, move forward. A bullet came down through the ceiling and caught her on the ear. And she was bleeding. She had blood all over. She wore like elderly ladies wear the nightgown thing. Anyway, this came from a payback. And it was a group of 4 or 5 young men who stopped out in front of her house and literally shot the house up. One of the bullets came down through the ceiling and within, we're talking 6 inches or something, would have been in her head. And the community went nuts over this. Rightly so.
Rightly so. Yeah.
And those, anyway, to fast forward, not to belabor that, but the precinct did some things and they changed. They changed how they were addressing the problem. Yes, the problem is still there. It moved. It moved somewhere else.
Yes.
Because I'm not worried about that right now.
Right.
So anyway,
and see, that's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting a life free of crimes.
Yeah.
But these type of crimes right here, it should be controlled.
Yep.
It should be controlled. People should be getting arrested. It should be high. That's another issue. The bonds needs to be set higher. I mean, you take the young man at the apartment, Marquise Terrell Green, just the other day, last week. Is
that the 4 people that were just arrested?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That right there. Oh, that was horrible. That was so horrible. And my thing is this: why, when something happens south of the Broad, where you and I live, why, when something happened over there, of this magnitude, why is there a quick response? And when it happens north of the Broad, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
So it makes the people have these ideas like they don't care, let the blacks kill each other. And really that's what it is blacks killing blacks. I mean, I know I get upset when an officer wrongfully kill a black person. I get upset,
Sure.
But we as black people, does our lives matter to us? I'm just tired. I'm so tired, Mike, fighting with law enforcement. I'm so tired of having meetings with them and you're told the same thing over and over and over. And you have leadership that says, like I said earlier, oh, the gangs are not the ones that are shooting up the place, when we know better.
Absolutely.
I told Sheriff Tan the other night, because I have resources, on most all of these murders for the last 3 years, myself and a couple of other people have people that have told us who did what. And Tana said, give it to me. Why in the hell would I give that to you, Tana?
Yeah.
Why would I? You won't do anything with it, because when we told the sheriff department, when we witness when I say we, the Beaufort County Awareness Group,
Hmm.
when we witnessed 3 people calling Crime Stoppers, and we told them what information so far as what they can say that will give that is a real good tip
Mm-hmm.
for detectives to go and work on. And when the officers got in our meeting and told us that, oh, we didn't get anything, we didn't, or if we did, it wasn't nothing to stand. When I know of the call and people are right there sitting hearing that people call Crime Stoppers, Mike, shortly, and I told some of my people in my group, I said, watch, we're not gonna have Crime Stoppers anymore. I don't know whether God's told me that. It just came to my mind and I told people. And Mike, within a few weeks, I saw the news that Crime Stoppers was out of the Low Country. And the sheriff department, city department has a tip line. The truth of the matter is, people do not trust the sheriff department. We've tried to bridge that gap. They just don't. I had people calling Crime Stoppers because I got them to trust me and to believe that, yes, I've called the Columbia office, I called the Charleston, and they told me, yes, it is anonymous. There's no way no one can find out their names or anything. And I had people calling. I've had people told me out of fear that I give the officers information,
Mm-hmm.
and the people call me threatening me that the names that I called. We have a big problem, Mike.
We have a huge problem.
And it's terrifying. Something has, and I'm trying not to cry because it's just so emotional. I'm trying not to cry.
I'm with you.
But
well, let me tell you this. This channel, both Beaufort County House of Cards, BigPatriotRadio.com, and me personally, I am making a pledge to you, Valeria, right now, right in front of God and everybody, and to the communities that we're talking about, and that's really all communities, but specifically the communities that are having these injustices, that we're going to help however we can in getting that word out that this violence has got to stop. The shootings have got to stop.
yes,
The murders have got to stop. People aren't going to take this any longer. The community in this and in because of other things, we have had enough.
Yes.
Enough is enough. You're tired. People are tired. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
yes,
And we're demanding help. I know there's law enforcement watching. We have had over 1,048, 1,049 people that have watched this so far. I know law enforcement has seen this tonight.
mm-hmm.
We're demanding that law enforcement make a change. If you have to change how you're doing business, then do that. It's not a matter of money, because Sheriff Tanner has the biggest budget in the county, sans the school board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the city of Beaufort and Bluffton the same way. But we're demanding, again, I'm making this pledge to you and to the communities. These politicians have got to stop and make a change. They can't let this go on any longer. I wanted to work with you, Valeria. I want to work together with you to make a change, to make a difference. I don't want to put labels on people, on political parties, because it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We're just people. You're my sister, and
you're my brother,
and we're just people. And
yes.
You're welcome to come back on here anytime you want, darling. If you have a fish fry, you know my number.
Oh, yes.
You
Definitely will be invited.
Let's not do it only because of somebody passing, but just to have one.
Yes, just to have one.
You reach out to me, to this station. I hope your friends and family that are watching continue to watch on a regular basis. Love to have them. And you contact me at any time. Let me know when your next meeting is. The baby is definitely going to be born tomorrow. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, there she's going in at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Now she's having a girl, right?
Boy.
A boy.
Yep. This will
Oh, we the godparents. Yeah. No.
be grandbaby number 11.
Yes.
That's
Oh
right.
God, that's beautiful. You got a whole football team.
I do. It'll be 6 boys and 5 girls. So
Wow, that's beautiful. Mike.
we'll, that's all good. God's good.
Now, what is his name before you go? What's the baby's
Miller.
name?
Miller.
I like that.
Yeah, Miller. I don't know where they came up with Miller, but the middle name is Alexander after my wife's father.
Oh, that's beautiful. Miller Alexandria. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. So God bless you, my dear. And I look forward to seeing you around the town. And again, let me know if whatever I can do, however I can do it, we're here for you and with you.
I appreciate you so much, Mike. I really do.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on this number 11 bundle
That's
of
right.
joy that should be here soon.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Be Rich, ladies and gentlemen. Check her out on Facebook. She's a superstar. She's a superstar. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
All righty.
God bless.
God bless you. All right. It is 8:40. 20 minutes before the top of the hour, right here on Big Patriot Radio.
Wickedness and filth this world has to offer.
Rock music that shatters your bones. Big Patriot Radio.
That's some serious rock.
And you're responsible.
All right. We're running a little bit longer, but that was an incredible segment. I just love her. It was the first time that I've got to see her face to face. We talked only once before on the phone about this, and everybody needs to make a difference. It doesn't matter what community, what race, creed, color, religion, sexual orientation. None of that matters. People matter and lives matter, and the shootings and the murders and the drug, it's got to stop. All right, next up, we want to move this along. I did want to bring up let me see if I can find it now. For some time now, we have been talking to you here on this channel about we've been reporting about Bay Point Island and how Six Senses Resorts and Whitestone, all in Red Rock on Daufuskie, have been making advertisements of their new ecotourism luxury rentals and, getaways coming to Daufuskie and Bay Point Island. Now, recently, Tony Kuklich of the Post and Courier had an article this week. Uncanny how close it was to what we, over the last 5 weeks, have actually been reporting on. Anyway, Kuklich came out with a report talking about Daufuskie and Bay Point. Marketing from these companies, Whitestone, Six Senses, Red Rock, has been clearly upfront in stating these yurts that we talked about on Bay Point that I don't believe are supposed to be there, but that's up for argument. Anyway, their marketing is that these are to be rented. Well, Kuklich reports that Whitestone, and I quote this, Whitestone Resources of Bay Point, the would-be developers, responded to the Post and Courier saying that what people are seeing are mobile, primitive campsites and permits are not required. Now, that's funny. Prior to the House of Cards opening up this can of stinky, smelly, uncured fish, these were luxury rentals into the ecotourism business. The abyss of luxury ecotourism on the backs of a uninhabited island on the coast of South Carolina. Now, it's a temporary thing, they say, like the solar panel stations scattered all over are just temporary. It's not one solar panel here for maybe a light. No, these are an array of solar panels. And we'll take a look at those here in just a second. The elaborate docking areas are just temporary. Yes, the dock has been there for a long time, but it has had improvements over time. Now there is a dock for what appears to be 8 large boats and an aluminum floating dock that that goes up and down, ramp to the main walkway. County officials did not respond to the Post and Courier, saying that this is now under investigation. Well, I'm glad I could help you. So let's continue Actually, let me throw up this picture here right quick. This is what you'll see. This is the latest, if you will, the latest look at that island over there. And here we go. Let me pop this up into big mode. Maybe you can see that. So there are the 4 yurts. They're like Mongolian style yurts. They're made out of some kind of that looks like an aluminum frame. You see the green sheeting. There is a door. Actually, let me see if I can blow this up any at all. There is a real door there. Nope, I can't blow it up. So, and over here and this orientation is even though we're looking down, we are looking what would be east. This road just above these yurts that goes east. So north of the yurts, there is a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, a 12 panel solar array. That's not just for a light bulb. That's not just for maybe lights along the road. That is serious megawatts, as they call it. Or maybe not megawatts, maybe it's kilowatts. Anyhow, let's continue our look. We're going to look into the Turner's Marina, Neil Turner, Low Country Ferry, and more on the Daufuskie Island saga. To date, Neil Turner has still not returned our calls, our emails, our text messages, and has not acknowledged even my own personal drop-in visit to see monkeys water sports. Now, we have talked to quite a lot of people. Katie Scurry. She's either some family member to Wick Scurry, who had the ferry contract for, I don't seem like ever. I remember when I came here 30 years ago, I guess. Well, when I came here 30 plus years ago, it seemed like he was the one operating the barge to go over. Anyway, Katie Scurry was one who responded to me personally and said, "Thanks so much for reaching out. I really don't have much to say. Hope it works out for everyone." Meanwhile, she's been quoted on different text messages from people on and off of Daufuskie saying things like, quote, "You islanders brought this upon yourselves." Really, Katie? We reached out to Steve McNulty. He's the boat captain who works for Island Head and may or may not have an ownership stake in it. I don't really know. I haven't asked him. He did respond, and he is, according to Neil Turner, an employee of the Low Country Ferry. He did respond with, and I quote, "My involvement is much less than what is being portrayed and not my place to stir the pot in such a sensitive time for those involved," end quote. That speaks volumes, actually. I appreciate his very politically correct approach, but I don't have time for political correctness. You all know that. Not when ADA, that's Americans with Disabilities Act, laws and guidelines are being allegedly violated, and people like the elderly Gala lady that we talked about on this show, who could not go home to Daufuskie Island, where she lived all her life, because Turner's cockamamie vessel couldn't accommodate her needs through ADA compliance. You know, stuff like ramps, proper door widths, berth widths, ADA restrooms, etc. So I need some help here. Maybe some of you could reach out to Neil Turner to respond. Maybe you could get him to give me a call. And if you could, I mean, you could text him, you could call him. Bear with me a second, and I'll tell you how you can reach out to him. And again, his name is Neil Turner. And let's see here. All you need to do, there's his number, 843-422-1597. That's Neil Turner of Turner's Marina, Low Country Ferry. Maybe he doesn't know who I am. Get in touch with him, send him a message, and ask him, "Hey, Neil, why are you not returning this guy's calls, his emails, his texts from the house of cards? You won't come out and see him." I'm simply trying to help the guy out here. That's it. I'm just trying to help the guy out. So, new information that I've received over the last week or two, both Senator Tim Scott and Representative Nancy Mace's offices have been made well aware of the, quote, situations, plural, here with Low Country Ferry, and even have been sent audio and or video copies of the show. We've had Nancy Mace on here, and Nancy knows me. I hope you got my good side, folks, when you sent those to them. So now local, state, and federal politicians are being brought into the show. People thought that back on August 9th, which was the deadline by Beaufort County Administrator Michael Moore to Neil Turner to either have his shit together or face the consequences. That day came and went. Turner has not complied that we are aware of. There was a meeting scheduled for August 12th to follow up the 9th of August meeting. That meeting was canceled. We can't find any reason stated for the cancellation of that meeting. Now, there is a meeting scheduled for the 26th of August in a mere 4 days. To this point in time, Michael Moore has been whisper silent. A new company, as we told you, put together a 100% bona fide plan with results to bring in a two-boat investor group operation and even give, get this, the residents of Daufuskie Island a stake in it. He was going to make this available. You residents of Daufuskie, the Gullah, the people who have just decided to move there, they wanted to get away. We're going to give you a stake in this operation. Let you be an integral part of it. County Council Chairman Passament and Administrator Moore have blown this entire thing off that we can find and are keeping the public away from it. Allegedly, in my opinion. Then a couple of days later, it was found out that the Queen Jean, a deep-sea fishing vessel out of Topsail Island, North Carolina, showed up at Turner's Marina. Well, first it showed up at Buckingham Landing. Remember who lives at Buckingham Landing? Then it was brought over to Turner's Marina. We have pictures of the Queen Jean, and I would love to see how they're going to, A, make this vessel compliant with the overall contract. B, how is it going to be ADA compliant? Which, for some reason, it seems that Turner and the rest of the crew just really don't give a shit. A letter dated 2 August from the group Disability Rights SC, that's DRSC, states that the county is failing to comply with the Americans for Disabilities Act, first reported by the House of Cards. It calls out, just as this outlet did the very first time, accessibility to the boat, lack of assistance for disabled conditions, disabled passengers, inadequate vessel capacity, and complete unsafe conditions. The letter reads, quote, "These deficiencies continue to challenge the lives and livelihoods of people with disabilities who live on Daufuskie Island, their family members, and personal aides, as well as tourists who are disabled, or prohibit them from using the public ferry system," end quote. The DRSC letter further says that we want to emphasize to the County of Beaufort unequivocal obligations under the ADA extend far beyond questioning the fitness or suitability of the vessels of Low Country Ferry has identified for its use. Again, we said that weeks ago that Neil Turner and Low Country Ferry, the buck doesn't stop just there. It extends far beyond that. This is where the county council should pay attention, because now you are complicit according to the Americans with Disabilities Act. We want to emphasize this DRSC letter. Quote, we want to emphasize to the County of Beaufort unequivocal obligations under the ADA extending far beyond questioning the fitness or suitability of the vessels. Again, the county is responsible not only for its own activities, but also for non-compliance by a contractor, Low Country Ferry, with its obligations under the ADA. It's not a you sign it, it's your problem, County Council. The onus is on you. You see, for more than 6 months, the county did not attempt to remedy problems with Low Country Ferry's operation. This is a fact. It's undeniable. And this was brought to your attention again and again and again. Not only, they say, this is the letter written by an attorney, brought to your attention not only by DRSC, but also by residents of the island. This letter was authored by ADA attorney Rebecca Guental-Fulmer. Now, the letter cites numerous examples of continued noncompliance, pretty much all of what we've shared with you. It also leads on to say that if Beaufort County does not address these issues, the DRSC will file litigation. Well, duh. Personally, and this is just personally, means nothing. I believe those filings are sitting at the ready to be clocked in. And hopefully Neil Turner, Tom Taylor, nor the county think that these people are calling their bluff. I think that would be a tragic mistake on your part, Beaufort County. How is this entire thing transparent to the public and the taxpayers of the county, especially the residents of Daufuskie Island? Back to Neil Turner and Turner's Marina. What we're seeing now is that our assumptions or allegations are clearly starting to look true. Turner is allegedly trying to monopolize the entire waterfront of the Hilton Head RV Resort and the marina, and including the Sunset Restaurant. Get this, trying to not allow them, allegedly, in their own words and signatures on legal documents, trying not to allow them to use parking spaces or bathrooms. That is the most egregious and ridiculous, absurd thing I have almost ever heard. When someone asks me, oh, why would he want to run them out of business? My answer to that is, then why is he trying to take away their right to park frigging cars or take a leak in the bathroom, for gosh sakes? Make it make sense, somebody. Turner's assertions even argue his interest in the mailroom, the laundry room, the exercise room known as the recreational building. And for God's sakes, he doesn't even think that the people who use the RV park should be allowed to use the freaking pool in the RV park. He's claiming eminent domain kind of mantra over that. Unbelievable. So you tell me, you don't think he's trying to run them out of business? Then what in the hell is he doing? This is not a business plan that makes sense to me. I've written a few. They've all worked. This one doesn't smell good. Unbelievable. Somebody contact him. Tell him to give me a call. Give me a text. Send me a carrier pigeon. Send something.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
Last thing I want to bring up here. Let me find it. We are running way long. We have breaking news. It came out this afternoon. Actually, a couple things, but I'm only going to go over one. Breaking news on the Bridget Frazier arrest, followed by the $2 million extortion demand to the town of Bluffton. Today, an article came out from the Post and Courier again, detailing how Bluffton police officer Brian Nelson uttered the words, quote, "You're my hero," end quote. Nelson uttered those words over the radio and this is all per the Post and Courier, over the radio as his colleague and junior officer, Officer Ramirez, who stopped her, discussed a traffic stop that has become anything but routine. That driver, Bluffton Town Councilwoman Bridget Frazier, what is this? We've got, okay, there's some folks from, where are you from? West Virginia and Georgia say they don't know who that is. I don't know if I have a photo. I don't know if I have a photo. Let me see here. They want to know who Bridget Frazier is. There we go. There's Bridget Frazier, town councilwoman for the town of Bluffton. That's who we're talking about. So anyway, lost my train of thought. She was stopped for going 21 miles over the limit in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. And her driving record, while after being stopped, came back showing her license was suspended for not paying a traffic ticket. Officer calls it in. They run it through the DMV, NCIC, and it came back suspended driver's license for not paying a ticket. Her extended driving history, usual and customary. Nobody did this, Bridget, because, anything other than that's what the frick they do when you get pulled over. Showed that as of July, she had a history of 5 suspensions for not paying traffic tickets in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Now, she did end up paying those, but she had convictions that she didn't pay them. There's a history here, but all of a sudden she's blaming somebody else because she didn't pay her bill, or her fine rather. They end up arresting her. Now, she's not ignorant, so I don't even want to say that because she's a very smart woman. But maybe, is she above the law? She thinks she is. I don't know. Now, it should be said, again, she did pay those fines. She did have them racked up. That is seen on NCIC or a DMV or whatever they call it, SCIC too. When you do the data pull that's what police do. During the stop, Officer Ramirez notified his chain of command to look into the traffic stop. That's where Nelson's comment came from. According to the report, Nelson has been counseled and disciplined for his action. It is the part of the town's aggressive discipline process, they call it, reserved for minor offenses. For kicks and giggles, a copy of the town's report, or not report, this is a discipline report, a counseling report, is right there. You can look at it as you want. So in other words, the supervising officer took a call from the traffic cop who asked him, I need you to take a look at who I'm pulling over. In my opinion, he was doing that because she's a councilwoman, professional courtesy. Now, it says here, Officer Nelson overheard the request, making the comment to Officer Ramirez, "You're my hero." Now, further down, Officer Nelson stated he made the comment in reference to suspensions listed and not the individual. Officer Nelson's been verbally counseled on his professionalism. Henceforth, this this incident being documented. Okay, so he was. We go back to the other screen. He was counseled for saying this. What did he mean by it? I guess we'll never know. But he was counseled for it. Nelson said he made the remarks, or said he made the comment in reference to the suspension and not because of the person. According to Frazier, now we have a he said, she said sort of thing. She was quoted by saying to the newspaper that, quote, no citizen who is pulled over should ever be subjected to an officer saying over a radio, quote, "You're my hero," end quote. I don't disagree with that. Chief Babkowitz reports on the entire situation, made it to his level. Well, he's the friggin' chief, but it made it to his level because Frazier was the driver. Again, this is a professional courtesy to a sitting councilwoman or council person for that matter. The chief states that he told the officer to handle it the same way we would any other citizen of the county. Surely Bridget Fraser doesn't believe she is above the law. The chief handled it properly. Officer Ramirez handled it properly. The fault, if there's fault, aside from not paying your traffic tickets when you're supposed to, is the DMV or wherever that licensing information came from. Obviously, according to reports, there was a problem. She goes to jail. She gets bonded out in record time with the help of the wife of a local judge. She hires an attorney and an uber left-wing, off-the-collar, she's crazy, Representative Tiffany Span Wilder, who is also, like I said, a state representative, and they together demand $2 million from the city or town for the infraction. The town sends the request or the demand or the extortion, in my book, they send that to the Insurance Reserve Fund, a state agency, mind you. So the state agency can cover up to $1 million. They don't do anything else. They up to $1 million, and then they're off the hook on any claim. And then the town would be responsible for anything over that. In this case, it would be another $1 million. The Post and Courier made an interesting comment in their article. Pay attention to this. Quote, Fraser deflected a question about how she reconciles potentially taking money from initiatives she pursues through town council, taking public money for private gain. We reported on it. She instead pivoted, they said. She said, the concern should more be on the amount of money that's paid by taxpayers for individuals who are supposed to protect and to serve them that turn around and do the opposite, end quote. That is exactly about the story we've shared about her requesting and taking public tax money for her personal business. I'm the poster child for capitalism. Be your own boss, but don't take all the tax monies to fund it. That's not what we're here for, to fund your personal business. Bridget, you should look in the mirror big time. You are supposed to serve. You are a public servant. You work for the citizens of the town of Bluffton. We don't serve you, yet you are taking public tax monies for personal gain. This is absurd and an utter joke. If town council does not nut up and take action on this, I can only say it seems like people would be coming into the streets about personal money, their tax money going to fund a personal business. And it doesn't matter if it's Bridget. Shit, when I was on county council, if I had applied for tax dollars through A-tax grants or H-tax grants or any other form of grants, because there's a ton out there, if my personal business had applied for it and gotten it as a representative of the people, taking the people's money, that is criminal. Now, Bridget Fraser did respond one time, several months back, that no, Covert's got it wrong. We applied for that for the museum, the Gullah Museum, which I think is a fantastic idea. I support the idea, but she's not telling the truth because the application was in the name of her restaurant, My Daisy's Restaurant. So if you're going to play the game, you got to play by the rules. You didn't apply for the money for the museum. You applied for the money from the restaurant. Just saying. Call it as it is. Anyway, we're going to end on that note, actually. What have we got coming up? We are deep into really the beginning, I guess, of the final push of election season. We have got, we're going to be reaching out over the next several weeks until November 5th, however many weeks that is. It's like 75 days. We want as many candidates from every party. I even found out we have somebody from the, what is that called? What was that? The Forward Party. Never heard of them. We have somebody running for county council in the Forward Party. I think over in Beaufort. And her, matter of fact, I wrote it down because it's kind of funny. Giovanna Armstrong filed as a member of the Forward Party, who, which I think is weird, has a platform issue that in her mind, renters in her district cannot use county convenience centers to dispose of trash and cannot afford waste companies. Problem with that is she's wrong. She's talking about the little sticker, the barcode. She's saying because most people rent, they can't use the convenience centers. Well, that's not true. The barcode comes from taxes, your tax bill, whether it's a car tax bill or if you only own a boat, that tax bill or whatever, a tax bill. It's based on your vehicle taxes or boat taxes or whatever. And hey, if you don't own a vehicle, they have a clause for that too. But how are you going to get it there anyway? So her plan, the Forward Party's plan, because this is not a county problem, this is a you problem. Her plan is to apparently offer county-provided trash service, I'm assuming countywide, which that's a big hell no. That would cost 4 arms and 2 legs. Anyway, that'll be coming up. We'll have that in weeks as time goes by. You're going to hear about all these folks we're going to have here on the show here on Beaufort County South of Cards and the Big Patriot Radio Network. Again, thanks for everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you especially to the witch, Valeria Richardson, for coming on here. I thoroughly enjoyed having that time with her and talking about a very much needed subject. Feel free to go out and go to, I guess it would be Facebook, and send some stars or check us out on Venmo or Patreon. Help out the channel as you can. Your donation is what helps keep independent journalism cycle going. As always, I encourage everyone to pay attention to what's going on around you. Especially be sure you and your family are safe. Always keep an eye out. We'll see you again next week. And until then, good night and watch your six.